Pokémon, a franchise that took the world by storm and defined the childhoods of many. It has only gotten more popular with time, but what was Pokémon like way back then? More specifically, how has competitive Pokémon changed over the years for those striving to be the very best? Now that is exactly what we are here to find out. In this series, Jeexx and I will embark on an adventure to be the very best, exploring through time and space to rediscover Pokémon's past formats. In each episode, both of us will bring two teams and battle it out in a best of 3 match, and the one who wins with both teams first is crowned the champion of the episode. We hope you enjoy this trip to Pokemon's evolution with us. Welcome to the Pokemon Progression Series, A Journey Through Time. Generation 5, Unova, with Black and White and Black and White 2, was the first region to not be based in Japan and instead was based on parts of the USA. It added a hopping 156 new Pokemon, the most out of any generation, and had some insanely powerful mons for both singles and VGC, like Excadrill, Ferrothorn, and the Jinx, just to name a few, but definitely was the first generation to introduce a lot of power creep into Pokemon. It also added hidden abilities as a mechanic as well as Scald, an incredibly flexible move with good base power and a high chance of inflicted burn, as well as Gems, a series of items that give a once per game 50% boost to a move of its type when used for the first time. Generation 5 also finally removed the defense halving mechanic from Explosion and Self-Destruct, drastically decreasing their raw power. However, none of these changes defined the 5th generation as Weather did. Often referred to as the Weather generation, abilities like Drizzle, Drought, and Sandstream now brought permanent weather into battle, often referred to as Auto Weather, only fading upon a new weather play being applied, resulting in many weather wars in almost every single match in Generation 5. What's up guys and girls, ladies and lads, welcome back to Pokemon Prog Series, now with Generation 5 Ubers, and full transparency first, I'm recording this very early in the week, and since Sunday is Mother's Day, I'm not even sure yet if we're recording this week, but at least I'll have this done regardless, because I don't think I'm changing my themes from this point, until we play the Gen 5 Ubers. But yep, I have 2 weather teams here, and starting us off, I am bringing back a classic. I'm bringing back Ferrocruel Rain. It worked, obviously, it was extremely potent in OU, and now I would really like to see if it actually also works in Ubers. As I said last time, for Ubers, there are actually, not that many Mons, a lot of the Lando and Thunders and Tornadoes forms are Ubers in this generation, but alongside those, obviously we have the Reshurams, the Zakrams, the Kyurem Whites, but I don't think they're very good. So instead, my Gen 5 Mons are Genesect and Ferrothorn, because obviously Genesect having the Scizor typing means its only weakness is fire type moves, and obviously we can offset that with Rain. But starting us off, we are running aforementioned Genesect with a Choice Scarf with U-Turn, Ice Beam, Explosion, and Iron Head download. Obviously gives you either an attack or a special attack boost every time you switch in, so you know which thing is gonna hit the hardest. I have Ice Beam here for all the Dragon types, otherwise we're going fully on the offensive for a physical set. And Explosion obviously got nerfed, I think it was this generation. It might have been Gen 4, so it doesn't have your opponent's defense stat in damage calculation anymore, but it's still nice. If it get a +1 explosion off, it should do a lot of damage. The issue is that usually in singles, Protect isn't that prevalent. Jeexx obviously still really likes it, so there's a chance that we boom on a Protect, but I'm willing to take that risk. Then we have Ferrothorn, nothing really special here. We're running Spikes, Leech Seed, Gyro Ball, and Stealth Rock here. Double layering on the hazards, and then Leech Seed just to be a bulky nuisance. And we're maxing out the special defense, because for the most part, in Ubers, we expect to see more special attackers than physical ones. Gyro Ball is our move of choice, since it's the one thing that lets us hit pretty hard. Obviously, no fairy types for now, but it's still a good option to have. The same philosophy here, Tentacruel also maxing with a special defense, because I'm just expecting to see a lot more special attackers than physical. And same idea here, we have Black Sludge here. We also have Rain Dish for additional recovery under Drizzle, which is really nice. And we also have Toxic Spikes, Rapid Spin, Scald, and Ice Beam here. So we have all 3 forms of hazards here. So if Jeexx doesn't bring a spinner, we're going to be in a really good shape. Scald also here to burn any physical attackers if those end up rising up. Kyogre, I have a given choice specs. I'm running Water Spout, Surf, Thunder, and Ice Beam. I was contemplating on this lot to be Hydro Pump, but Hydro Pump being 80% accurate, it just feels so bad, so I'd rather go for consistency. Thunder obviously being 100% accurate under Drizzle, it's very nice. And if we are faster than something else like that, we have Water Spout for that. The 1 point in speed is just to outspeed base 90 Mons with no investment. If we are facing opposing, what's his face? If we're facing opposing weather, Rayquaza is going to be really nice for that. We're running Draco, Extreme Speed, V-Create, and Earthquake. That's the reason why we're running a little bit of special attack, and we're running a hasty nature is because of Draco. We'd rather go for Draco because it's just so much more powerful than any of the physical dragon moves. So that's why it's there. Extreme Speed, V-Create, Earthquake, obviously pretty self-explanatory, just really powerful moves. And I would love to run Extreme Killer Arceus because I really like that set, but I ended up running a different set of Arceus, and obviously we can only run one. So that's the reason there. And finally, we have Latios here, another Draco dropper with a Thunder, Roost, and Roar there with a Soul Dew. And the reason for the Roar is mostly that we can be set of fodder after a Draco, and might also serve as bait where we can go for Draco. Jeexx switch is something we can make it get a Roost off as he sets up. If he gets greedy, like we can go for a Roar. And obviously having a phasing move also when we have all three forms of hazards is going to add a lot in terms of passive damage. As for the other team, we are running a Sand team, which interestingly enough only has 2 Ubers Mons in it, those being Lando and Arceus Ghost. So I'm kind of trying to catch Jeexx off guard by going a lot less Ubers Mons here. Obviously, Tyranitar are pretty self-explanatory. I'm running a double Sandstream Mons, so I'm bringing both Tyranitar and Hippowdon because obviously Kyogre and Groudon are in the format. So I would love to have Sand be up at all times. Tyranitar is running Crunch, Pursuit, Low Kick, and Stealth Rock. It is running a lot of bulk, and like it's there, it can pressure trap some stuff, but apart from like Jeexx maybe busting out a Deoxys form or a Mewtwo, like obviously not gonna do that much, but it's still nice to have, and especially good to trap something like a Deoxys Speed, but obviously those can run superpower, so we need to be careful. Then for our main actual Sand Sweeper, we have Excadrill. It's just the fastest thing in the entire format. Life Orb, Sand Rush, SD, Earthquake, Rock Slide, and Iron Head, just pretty standard here. SD is there, like if we actually get an opportunity to set up, then obviously we can sweep really well. The reason for, we have a Stealth Rock here as well, and the reason for the Whirlwind here, I just have a Recovery, Earthquake, Whirlwind, and Stealth Rock here, and this is a fully physically Pokemon. And the reason for the Whirlwind is because we are also running Spikes and Toxic Spikes on Fortress. So another team where we are trying to hazard stack. We also have a Spin here, and then finally Volt Switch. Like Fortress is there to just soak up a damage after it's laid down the hazard. But both of these teams are really looking to take advantage of Jeexx potentially not bringing a Spinner, which I think like in this tier, like Spinners are really good, which is why I'm running one in both of my teams. But neither of them are Ubers Mons, so maybe Jeexx will overlook them and not go for them. I also think like this is one of the times when I'm actually going to be running Lando Incarnate, and we're running a Choice Scarf Sand Force set with Earthquake, Stone Edge, U-Turn, and Grass Knot. Grass Knot is there. I'm running a lot of these sets where I have a little bit of, I have a mixed attacker and I have a little bit of investment in physical and special attack. And the reason for Grass Knot here is obviously it hits both of the weather setters really hard for super effective damage. And like I said, I really want Sand to be up. Finally, here's our Arceus Ghost, and this is the reason why I can't run Extreme Killer Arceus. I'm running an extremely bulky Arceus with Will-O-Wisp, Parole, Recover, and Judgment. So if we run into physical attackers with this team, like we should be pretty chilling, especially with Willow on the Arceus. But Arceus is also a second phaser that we have. Obviously, Arceus Ghost is my pick here because it can block spins, which is really nice, and then Judgment is just there as a obviously really reliable move to throw out, and Arceus is just fully invested into special attack, and the reason for the speed investment there is to outspeed opposing Arceus forms. I don't think there's anything else here at exactly 120. Yeah, Tornado's Therian is 121, but I don't expect to see that. I think it's very not good here. But we can outspeed consistently if Jeexx also ends up going for an Arceus form. Like, we can outspeed those. Obviously, stuff like Alakazam doesn't matter, because if he's going to run something like Zam, like, he's definitely going to have investment on it. So this is mostly just to scout for what sort of spread Jeexx might be having on his own Arceus, which would be nice. Obviously extremely good, especially if he's running a like bulky set, but the only one that I would expect to see like that would be the Extreme Killer Arceus, and obviously we're now going to be outspeeding that, so yeah. But I think these teams are pretty cool. I think like bringing 2 teams with actually a bunch of OU Mons is... There's a chance that it catches Jeexx off guard, but it's also something that I want to try, especially for the case of Ferrocruel, because Ferrocruel is really good in Ubers as well. It's not just limited to being super good in OU, so I'm excited to see how these games go. But hopefully you enjoyed the team breakdowns, hopefully you enjoyed Jeexx as well, and afterwards I will see y'all in the battle zone.
Okay, so we are playing Gen 5 Ubers. I am running Landorus, Tyranitar, Jirachi, Dialga, Excadrill, Terrakion. I don't think I need to explain what this archetype of team is. It has an S in it and ends with an and gets everywhere. We got U-Turn, Outrage, Earthquake, Superpower on Landorus. We got T-Tar with Stealth Rock, Payback, Low Kick, Fire Blast, also Choice Scarf on Landorus, and Sand Force instead of Sheer Force or anything. You could make the argument that I could just run... Wait, actually, I don't know how Sheer Force would work. Well, that's interesting. Wait. I need to think. Is there any downside for me running Sheer Force over Sand Force? I assume U-Turn doesn't work, but that's maybe it. Okay, never mind. Stealth Rock, Payback, Low Kick, Fire Blast for T-Tar. T-Tar is a mixed attacker here with the Focus Sash Sensor, setting rocks for the most part, and obviously surviving to set... hopefully surviving to set rocks. Hitting after rocks, I mean. Max speed investment. This doesn't feel right. I feel like this is supposed to be attack. Well, you know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna change anymore here. Jirachi with leftovers, Serene Grace, Body Slam, Iron Head, Wish, Protect. Dialga with leftovers, Pressure, Draco Meteor, Fire Blast, and over Stealth Rock. Again, another rocker. This has a little bit of a weirder set because I was looking into how people actually build Uber's Mons. And it seems as though there's a lot of Pokemon that are just specifically kitted out in special defense and defense to survive certain hits. And I don't know what those hits are, but I was looking at that and thinking like, surely there's a reason why this is like this, so I'm just gonna go with this. Excadrill with Life Orb, Sandrush, Shadow Claw, EQ, Rapid Spin, Rock Slide. It's a spinner and it's got EQ. It's got also it's Giga Threatening, Sandrush obviously, max attack investment. Terrakion, Choice Scarf, Justified, Close Combat, Slow Energy, Sacred Sword, Toxic. I have 2 Scarfers, which might bite me in the ass, but I think that these should be fine to have. Then for my second team, I have Ferrothorn, Caesar, Kyogre, Cloyster, Tornadus, and Palkia. I don't think I need to explain why I got Ferrothorn in here. It's an Arrain team, you know. Caesar in a rain team, you know. Obviously, Stealth Rock, Leech Season, Gyro Ball, Spikes, Bullet Punch, Pursuit, Sword Stance, Superpower. I'm gonna actually try using Caesar for sweeping for once because I haven't actually done that yet. Kyogre, Water Spout, Surf, Ice Beam, Thunder, Choice Scarf, Drizzle, obviously. Cloyster, Life Orb, Skill Link, Icicle Spear, Hydro Pump, Rock Blast, Shell Smash. This thing is gonna kill! This is one of those mons where I went to Smogon and I was like, wait, what do you mean this thing is Ubers? What do you mean Cloyster is Ubers? And while I was looking at this, I just went like, you know what? Somebody else did the math for me. Fuck it. Why Superpower on Caesar? Because I can't kill T-Tar with SD, Bullet Punch, or Pursuit, so I need Superpower. And if I use SD and I Superpower, I can still kill pretty much anything under the sun. That's why. I didn't calculate, obviously. I also have Life Orb, but the last time I ran into T-Tar, I think with Choice Band, and I used Bullet Punch, it didn't die from 70%, so I'm just putting Superpower on and Life Orb on to make sure that I can actually do it. Obviously, the main things that are going to be dealing damage are these 2. But yeah. Then we have Choice Specs, Regenerator, Hurricane, U-Turn, Focus Blast, Grass Knot. Thunder Astarian, Zoomies, Palkia, Lustrous Hold Pressure, Spatial Rent, Thunder, Hydro Pump, Fire Blast. I got a lot of special attackers on here, and technically only 2 physical attackers. I don't even know if you want to count this as a physical attacker, but hey ho. Anyhow, good luck with the games.
Hello there.
That's where are you? Oh yeah, it's because of yeah, never mind. Hello, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
I am being yelling.
Very
Being yelling.
nice. Oh wait, the most important thing. Which avatar will I pick today?
I see.
We're doing Gen 5 Ubers, so give me the first Gen 5 champ I see. There's Iris. There we go, I guess. Generation 5 Ubers. It feels like it's been a little bit since we've done an Ubers metagame.
It has almost like half a year or something, I think.
God damn. How do you feel about this? Oh, maybe need to.
I'm playing 2 weather teams, and one of them has Caesar in it.
Gasp.
I think you can determine what I'm playing.
Sun Caesar? Interesting.
Yeah. I'm gonna get hit with that fucking Ember for a quad effective and just get 1 shot.
Fucking Ember. I feel rumbling in my stomach, which worries me, but hopefully things will be fine.
I'm sure this will be fast. I trust.
We shall see.
Oh, yeah, it's Uber's cool. Hell yeah! Finally, we're getting to use all the cool mons.
It is true. We are close to the end of Gen 5. We have this little cup monotype, and then we're into VGC.
Yep.
Which is odd to start feeling more comfortable with that than singles, but definitely still not there. Damn, I'm just so excited to get to do monotypes finally. The format is so sick. Big fan of monotype. But without further ado, we can jump right into it. So I will send you the invite in just a second.
Okay.
Best of luck to you, gamer.
Good luck.
Okay, let me. So that's. Now the issue here is obviously I shouldn't have knowledge anyway, but since he told me that he has a Caesar team, like my instinct is to take, since he's told that, I'm assuming that he's gonna play that first, which is why I would rather play this, because Caesar is obviously gonna be a rain team, and I've obviously like I don't like mirrors, so I guess we'll rip this one first. But the issue obviously is bringing a sand team into a rain team is not good for me. So yeah. Well, I guess. I mean, he famously Jeexx always seems to want the mirror matchups. So I mean, the sand doesn't matter. The issue here. I do not have... The one time I don't have HP eyes on my Lando for the mirror. I think I'd like to start by getting off spikes, honestly. It might be Tonjirachi is the scary thing here. It does have 3 steel types, so toxic and 1 flyer, so toxic spikes does like nothing. I'm so glad that I have Willow instead of toxic here though. Sorry, I was just checking that I'm actually recording. It's definitely been 2 minutes. Do we just... I do also have Rapid Spin here. I need to really preserve Fortress here. I'll lead with Fortress, I think. But yeah, Toxic Spike doesn't do that much. Dialga. What do you want to do? The thing here is, if it's set up Dialga, like, this will be really difficult, but this could just be, like, a rocker. I'll start with a layer of spikes. Fire Blast. Do you have my sturdy? I wonder if he specs. The switch is obvious, but I still think he could have Aura Sphere. I don't really. I do have a low kick on T-Tar, which is nice for their T-Tar, obviously, but I don't know if I really need it. I do need it for the trap. I'll go Hippo here. What would he Fire Blast again? Because obviously if I stay in I die to anything, so that is actually an interesting Fire Blast. I'll set up rocks here. Unless he wants to drop a Draco, like, he can't Oko me with anything, and if he Dracos this, I'm perfectly fine with it. He doesn't have a spinner, which is one big thing. But the one layer of spikes is the big one. Obviously, I would have liked to get more, but... Fire Blast Dialga. The funny thing is, if he ripped a burn on my fortress, I think I just immediately lose. I don't have a cleric here, but I mean, as I said, like, we're trying to dwindle down stuff. There's a Draco. Okay. Now I do get to bring in something for free, which is, like I said, the nice thing. That's supposed to go. I do have a second rocker, so I don't mind that much. Obviously, losing my physical wall kind of sucks. How much do I take of -2 Fire Blast? Not that much. Am I? I'm adamant. So if he's jolly on his Exca, he might be faster than me. This thing even being Scarf wouldn't be faster than me though. I can always Rock Slide stuff. I do think I'll go Exca here. And click SD. Even if these things are Scarf, they're not gonna be faster than me. Yeah, we click Sword Stance every time here, right? Yeah. If he's Jolly, Exca with Sandrush, then I just lose. But at that point, it's like, okay, we're playing mirror teams, and like, he just has the perfect counters for my mirror stuff. This is gonna be such a whack episode, by the way. It's Sand Mirror into Raid Mirror. But I think this is the funny thing about Gen 5 Ubers, where it's like, if you look at both of our teams, there's 2 legendary Mons on both of these teams. Okay. So then I assume this is going to be Scarf, but I mean, even if he's Scarfed, like, he's obviously slower than me. He could be Rocky Helmet trying to do stuff. Iron Head should just kill, so I'm just clicking that. I think there's if he's not Jolly Exca, like, I think there's a good chance that our Exca just sweeps. The issue here obviously is that, like, if he brings in Exca, like, and wins the speed tie or is Jolly, then I probably lose in the spot. But I don't think there's anything else he can do with the team, because after Sword Stance, I'm pretty sure I Oko everything. This thing dies to Iron Head, this thing dies to Iron Head, or Earthquake. This probably dies to Earthquake, assuming it's not, like, max bulk. Definitely dies to Earthquake, definitely dies to Earthquake. Like, Jirachi dies to Earthquake, probably. Like, there's a good chance that Exca just immediately wins here. Like I said, assuming he's not Jolly, and we win the speed tie. He probably wanted to just ensure that I'm Sand Rush and not Sand Force, but the only thing he can do is bring in Exca and win the speed tie. If he loses the speed tie, I immediately win. If he wins the speed tie, I immediately lose. Like, that's what's whack about these mirror matches. Because it comes down to a 50-50. Yeah. Literally comes down to a 50-50. If I win the speed tie, I immediately win. If he wins the speed tie, I immediately lose. Okay, and I win. It's a 6-0 for GG. Yeah, there's nothing Jeexx can do. This is why mirror matches are so whack. Because usually there is one single sweeper for each team. And yeah, there I won the speed tie, so I immediately win the game. Because, like I said, I OHKO everything in his team. Yippee! Speed ties are fun! Speed ties, sorry. Mirror matches. Alright, and time for another mirror match. Yippee! At least if I lose this, then we get an odd mirror match. I love mirrors. I tried to avoid this. He said he has Scissor team, so surely he starts with that. Oh, okay, I'm not even given time. Okay. This thing might be Shell Smash, which is scary. I'm actually gonna call this being Shell Smash. Yeah, there it is. Okay. Is it White Herb or Sash is the question. It is Sash. Okay. That's fine. Then I think I'd rather get a layer of spikes first. Okay, that's fine. I don't kill it with EX speed yet. I think I should have calced that. I'll be honest. Like I thought that I thought I'd live. I wonder if he has bullet punch actually. Because I don't think. I'm faster. Am I faster on? I'm actually not sure if I'm faster on this thing. Explosion definitely kills here. If I explode and he switches into something, do I care? Not that much. He's faster, okay. I don't think there is, because Lychee doesn't proc here. I don't think there is. Actually, yeah, there, I can still, because he's definitely, like, this thing definitely dies to, what's his face? Rock Blast? Yeah. I mean, Rock Blast can miss, though. So, I still think, like, going Tensai is fine. The issue is that I obviously don't kill this thing with that. Because I still don't kill it with extreme speed, which is the issue here. So, But this is why like these mirror matches are so whack, cause it just like whoever sets up the sweeper first wins. I wonder if there was, cause even if I go Genesect and explode, it doesn't really do that much. Wait, why would it proc? There's no target. Why would it? No target. I still need to sack one more thing. Actually, no, I do need Kyogre. If I sack Tentacruel, what happens? I mean, I just straight up lose, right? I'm specs on this thing. I mean, I can lock Thunder. Where's this team though? I do need everything else. This doesn't do that much for me. I'm basically thinking like, which one do I sack? I might need to sack both at the end of the day anyway, but I think I always sack Tenta. Because I do, if he hits Rock Blast, I do die, but it is 80% accurate. Okay. Another crit? Jesus Christ, this guy's getting very lucky. Now the issue is that, yeah, I still need to sack one more thing here, which needs to unfortunately be the big Lottie. Neither of these things matter, because obviously I just die. Damn, he hit everything. Okay, do I now kill it with extreme speed? 87% chance. Obviously I've already lost, but, you know. I want to still play it out because he gets to use some of his other mons, because obviously him insta forfeiting, which did make sense. Like, he didn't get to use other his mons, but that was because I was faster. Now Jeexx can actually play the game. But obviously because I have specs on Kyogre, like, I lose. Because this is definitely, one of these is definitely Scarf with Thunder. There's an argument to be made, obviously, here, that I don't show him my moveset, but we'll see what he goes into. Because if he goes Palkia, then it's probably that the Palkia is Scarfed. I haven't given that much information yet, because like extreme speed with Life Orb is just the standard. And I'd rather not make the episode as whack and actually show a little bit more than all right. Now, are you Scarf is the question. Obviously there is no rain here, but it is only until I leave. I do get to, I mean, it's always the same set, right? It just, whether it's Specs or Scarf. And that's the one thing that I care about finding out here. It is Scarf. Okay, that's cool. Cool to know. But yeah, yeah, there's nothing to do here. I guess I can take the extra time because I don't know, I don't have information on a lot of these things other than the Dialga, right? XK is adamant. That's actually important to note because we did speed tie, so like I do know that his XK is adamant. But like I said, I'll take a little bit of time here just to collect information, because obviously nothing here matters. I go into this, I click Thunder, he switches into something else, and yeah, because he can sack something, then bring this thing back in because he's Scarf, I'm Specs. GG. But I'll just use this to, since we haven't obviously spent any time here, him bringing this thing out also makes me think that it's probably also Scarf on this thing. So I'll just assume the Scarf. And I don't know anything about, he didn't bring any of these things out. And this is Fire Blast Draco. Wait, how much did the Draco do on my... Draco was... Let me see the calc. Smogon calc. Actually, wait, can I, if I do it from here, do I, no, it just opens like this, okay, well, that's fine. Let me go black and white, let me go, actually I can just import my own guy here, so give me this. And let me put that over here, show me imported, hit pound on, and show me, where are we? Dialga. No, Draco just always explodes, even if it's not specs. Yeah, everything else. Yeah, so I don't have information about it there. Oh yeah, wait, it did switch moves, right? So it is, what's his face? Yeah, I don't know the item. Okay, but I do know, because Life Orb shows if it, yeah. Fire Blast and Draco. So all of the information I have is that the Dialga is not not a choice item. Yeah, okay. But hey, if it was the other way around, but at least we got the not mirror matchup. Now, what does he lead into this is the thing, though. And how much do I value hazards in this? Ray is not the greatest, but being able to click Earthquake on a team which probably only has HPIs from Lando is pretty nice. Like, this should be a favorable matchup. Like, 100% should be a favorable matchup for me. The question here is, like, I'm wondering what does he lead, though? Toxic Spike doesn't do much here is the thing. What's the punish if I lead Pharaoh? He goes Dialga. Yeah, I don't do anything to Dialga with either of these two guys. Dialga probably has Thunder to counter the Rain, I do assume. Dialga is actually really hard for my team, actually. Because if I get a... It's definitely been 2 minutes, sorry. I think my best bet actually is to Fish Fry Scald Burn on Dialga. But Dialga is really... If it's lefties, like bulky attacker Dialga with lefties, I want to see Dialga here. Okay, yeah. Now, I want to see if he has Thunder. Thunder doesn't Oko me because I'm fully special defense invested. He doesn't have a spinner. So, although I can only toxic these two things, like, I might still want to go for Toxic Spikes. But, like, getting the burn on this thing is literally the only way I can beat it. I need Burn Chip and then to drop a Draco on it. Show me Burn. Thunder. I actually don't hate that. Okay, it is lefties. Yeah, so I do need the burn 100%. Now, there is a world where he goes into something. So that tells me he doesn't have a good way of dealing with this. Now, the thing here is I don't want to let him set up. If I get a burn on Exca, like, I also have a good chance of winning. Obviously, the speed drop doesn't matter here. It's probably Flash Cannon for the... It's Flash Cannon or Thunder for the last one, but Thunder obviously is 70% accurate, so maybe he didn't want to rip it. But I don't mind getting paralyzed on this. Although, I guess Jeexx could... No, Jeexx doesn't get... It only gets Toxic. But, I mean, that's kind of a nothing burger. Okay, it is Stealth Walk. So I know everything now. It's Fire Blast and Draco for the other two moves. I still Scald here. Okay, give me the burn. I do need to sack something here. I mean, if I get... Do I need to sack something? He's not very fast yet. I don't kill it with this. How much do I take from +2? A lot. You know, it does make the most sense to still stay in on Scald, because there's a good chance that I burn. And like the likelihood of me getting full para 3 turns in a row is what? 6.75% or something. And obviously if I burn this thing, like, I should be in the clear. Okay, that's fine. I do get a freer switch in this way, which is obviously not optimal that I lose my spinner immediately, but it's not too bad. This thing doesn't have anything to hit my Pharaoh with, so I do have a free, probably Leech Seed. But like I said, the big issue is the Dialga. The double para is like really big, and definitely if we lose, like, we'll look back at that double para turn. It would be really funny if the episode was just mirror into the sweeper wins, into another mirror into the sweeper wins, into then just full hacks decides the third game. That would be like the most Pokemon set of all time. But he, like, this is a free lead sheet for me. The thing is, like, if Dialga comes in, like, that's why I need to lead sheet. But then, because I know now the set, I can go into Kyogre. But yeah, losing my spinner here does suck. Okay, hit the lead sheet. Okay, that's good. He's always Thunder Waving first, right? The issue is that if I get it wrong and he goes for Fire Blast, then I just lose. Because Fire Blast just kills me. But, like, that's the thing. I think me switching is too obvious. I'll eat the Thunder Wave with this first. Yeah, okay. That will, because that was the... Dude. I get it right, and then... You're so talented, man. Now, does he call the other? I mean, at this point, it's just like... Because I was denied the chip and the burn on Xka. I was denied the Stealth Rocks here. Like... I'm saying one more turn. At this point, like, I'm just gambling, but it's like... I'd rather sack this thing and get to bring in Kyogre for free than to... Don't full power me again. Thank you. Okay, some justice in this world. But now the question is, does he predict me switching? Because I think the answer is yes. I'm trying to weigh the, like, balance it out in my head. I think it's worse to save Pharaoh and get paralyzed on Kyogre than it is to just stack Pharaoh here. That's what I'm thinking here. He could have Rapid Spin on Xka, which is important to note. But I'm staying in one more turn. Okay, he does hit it. But yeah, at least we got a little bit of justice from there. But now the issue here is I don't think there's anything I can do to kill this thing with. Draco does a lot. What's the... do you need to save Kyogre? Draco kills everything that I have. But the thing is, like... Do I need... I do. I mean, I've lost, like... I'm excited at this point, like... I don't think there's anything I can do to win this game, unfortunately. But... I could try. If he switches, I'm still, like, fine with it. I do have Roar. But I think, like, he can just stay and I click Draco on this. Unless he expects me... Actually, no. Even Specs I wouldn't kill with Draco. Yeah, he did do the Calyx as well. But it is fine. Now, unfortunately, as we've established, a Leechy doesn't do much here, but I do kill this thing for free with X here. Now, the thing is, do I want that or do I want Genesect to come in? I'd rather Ray. But yeah, this was just a, unfortunately... I don't even care if he switches, right? It doesn't make sense for him to switch. He would just eat free chip. Yeah, no. But yeah, because I lost my spinner super early, and like that was the bad play on my part. But to be fair, like if one of those times I didn't get full powered, I had a 30% chance. Like I had a way more of a chance to burn the Xka than I did to get full powered. And if I burned the Xka, I win the game on the spot. Yeah, there's the Terrakion, who is most likely Scarf, but I guess we can scout for it. I'll scout for the Scarf, I think. He always goes for a rock move. I'm gonna be faster. Like, Genesect is a faster Scarfer than... It's 99. Actually, it's not, right? Yeah, it's not. I mean, he has a free lock into rock move here anyway, but... If I get some extreme speed chip on this, do I kill it with Iron Head after? Iron Head already kills, so it doesn't matter. I'll just drop Draco. This is such a whack fucking... So, I mean, it doesn't matter at this point because I lost my walls, but still. What a whack set. I feel like Ubers we get always like so much bullshit. The issue is still that he has like, this thing is a Scarfer. Yeah. Okay, but imagine he misses another Stone Edge. Actually, he probably has HPIs, right? No, he definitely has HPIs. Is the extreme speed chip enough that I want to go for that instead? Is what I'm wondering here. I have Ice Beam on this? I don't think so. The crit! Outrage is funny though. Gel Gas so slow, this doesn't matter. I mean, I can go Genesect here. I do get the special attack boost. Unfortunately. The Ice Beam is obvious, but I don't think there's anything better that I could do. Yeah. Now all he needs to do is wait for this thing to die before he brings out Kyogre. Sorry, he brings out Tyranitar and he just wins, because obviously then he's just faster than me. If we get one more favorable hacks, there is like a small chance, but I don't think he has to risk any hacks. Right? You just go Jirachi here. I guess he needs to risk one then, because assuming he hits Rock Slide and no, actually Earthquake kills me, right? Yeah, Earthquake does kill me. Never mind. I do get chip on this though, but I do lose to Jirachi. Freeze, 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 freeze. And that might be what brings us back. I did say one more stack of hacks and I think we're back. Actually, no, we are, right? Yeah, okay. But would this thing have Wish is the question. Because this is where I can still lose this. If I switch to... No, I need to do Kyogre here, right? This thing is gonna have Wish. Yeah, this thing is gonna Wish. It's Body Slam. Don't power me. Okay, well. We need to get the hacks back. I always need to lock into Surf though. But yeah, in the end, he did get the hacks back. Now, there is a 40% chance still that we get to move, but obviously it doesn't matter afterwards. But even if I stay in... yeah, this thing... Since this thing was... Is it faster? It was faster than me. So there was nothing that... Actually, the win condition is that I flinch him to death, right? There's nothing more. Yeah, it's the only thing I can do, unfortunately. I do get the attack boost, which is obviously good. What a wacky set, though. It was just all hacks all the way. Of course not. It is funny to get the thingamabob. But yeah, there's obviously no point here. Surprisingly close, though. But what a whack set. GG's.
That was fucked up.
I mean, it was just, obviously, because mirror matches are just decided, okay, whoever gets the sweeper set up immediately just wins. And then the third one is just like triple parad to losing both of my walls. Then there was just nothing. It was, if I don't get parried on the body slam, which obviously it's only a 40% chance, like there was a chance after that because of the freeze, but when you got the parried, then obviously there was nothing there.
When you got the freeze, I just kind of went like, oh, do I actually just lose here? But then I realized that Jirachi is way too fucking strong.
It's not very good into Ubers. It just because obviously it doesn't do anything into walls because there's still like good chance that you get status by anything and then they sustain everything bad. But because you got such insane early game hacks to me losing both of my worlds, then it's obviously a really good late game sweeper.
The first set was just the cringiest thing I think we've had. Like,
I mean, that's why I always try to avoid mirrors, but for whatever reason, you're a fucking freak and you always want to go for the mirror.
I tried to get you to play your Sun team that I was expecting you to bring, because I'm pretty sure Sun is legal in Ubers, right? Because it's banned in everything below Ubers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna say I got a Caesar team coming. Maybe he'll run his Sun team that he might have into the first team, so I don't get fucked by the Sun team into my Caesar.
I mean, the Sun into Caesar is still a good matchup for you because it's rain. That's the reason why like the Sun in Gen 5 Ubers is so ass because it's just like. The best team in Ubers is Ferrocruel, which is like a 100-0 matchup. There is Sand, which is really bad because usually, as I did, usually you just run a double Sand stream. So unless you have manual Sun, you can never win the Weather War, and they just have a bunch of physical walls. And because Reshiram is the Gen 5 fire type that you would then want to use, it's because it's a fucking fire type, you get smoked by everything in the Sand team. So it's just, Sun is not playable in this shit, so there was never a chance that I was going to play Sun.
It feels crazy because Sun is banned in OU, right?
Yep.
Which like then you just step a level higher and suddenly it's so bad that you would never play it. It feels fucking criminal almost how good it can be versus how bad it also can be.
Yeah, it's like the metagame around it, because that's the case with some mons where you have a mon that's dogshit in its own tier, but in a tier above, because how type matchups and speed tiers and stuff like that work. Sometimes mons are way better in an upper tier. Like there are some instances even when you have like some P or ZU mons that are really good in RU and dogshit in their own tier, which is like crazy.
Yeah.
But
Caesar is actually a really good example of that because it checks a lot of the psychic types in OU and Ubers pretty well. Like Latios just crumbles to Caesar, which is crazy because Latios is an insanely good mon, right? And that's why Caesar is one of the most played ones in the entire format because it just checks the psychic type so well.
Yeah, it also pairs well into Ferrocruel. I mean, my Latios was just Draco Thunder with Soul Use. So I'm chilling against the Caesar unless it's a special defense variant, but basically nobody runs those ever. So
It just goes like bam and dies.
but I think this was legit one of the worst episodes we've ever had because it's just two mirrors into just a complete RNG fest. I feel like Ubers is like hella RNG for us a lot of the times.
It feels like the Crystal Wing episode from Learning Journey,
Yep.
where like, oh, I open Crystal Wing, okay, that's GG, I can't do shit. And then you open Crystal Wing, oh, that's GG, I can't do shit. That's it.
I guess
or then you just have the out.
Yeah, I guess that's also a part of like just Gen 5 in general because it's like almost always like you're bringing weather to a certain degree, which obviously raises the chance for mirrors a lot more because when it just turns into like that's also why I think like Gen 7 is so cool because it's like weather is fine, but it's not even like a great strategy. It's just fine. So it turns up really rarely. And as a result, like I think weather is the one thing that like contributes to there being a lot of like mirror matchups, and that's why I think like Gen 7 is also like so sick because there's always been like a lot of like variety when it comes to team building and what you can do with your teams, which weather limits a lot more to a larger degree. So I think that's also why like I'm excited to get to a later generation.
So when I was building my sand team, I was trying to actually piece together because I wanted to run obviously steel type because I felt like well steel type is going to be pretty good into ice type moves and everything else, and that's kind of why I landed on Dialga and Jirachi. But I also realized, wow, I can't actually really run anything other than rock, ground, or steel types if I don't want to get like fucked by my own mechanic, and that made me feel extremely limited because then it became like, well, what do I actually want to run? Because I wanted to run Deoxys for setting up fucking statuses and shit, and maybe even hitting hard, or even playing Ho-Oh because Ho-Oh is a pretty cool mod. But then I just felt like this isn't worth it. Why would I do any of this when I should just be running Mons that don't die to my own bullshit?
Hey, but that's where you bring out the ever-present Yu-Gi-Oh strategy, just draw the out, where it's like, so your team just loses to Ferrocool, but if you just put a 100% chance to full para onto both of those mons, then suddenly it's like, oh wait, this matchup isn't actually that bad. It kind of sucks because obviously I didn't get to showcase it, but like Ferrocool is such a broken core into so much of it was good in OU even, but in Ubers it's even more broken because you have Kyogre to set the rain for them to offset the one weakness that Ferrothorn has, and my Ferro is full like max special defense investment, so it lives like fully invested fire type moves in rain, even though it's quadruple super effective, which is fucking insane. But the obviously didn't get to showcase that, unfortunately. And another thing was why I wanted to also highlight these two teams. I think I said it I recorded my team breakdown a long time ago at this point, so I'm not sure. But I also wanted to, part of why I picked these teams was I wanted to showcase also how fucking insane Gen 5 Mons are in general, where the first team, the Sam team, you also had the same case where it's literally you have two legendaries in the team, and that's about it. And obviously it was the same thing for my Rain team, where it's like these Gen 5 Mons are on par with a lot of like earlier like actual fucking legendaries, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, like Ferrothorn Tentacruel is just like a crazy defensive core that is insanely hard to break normally. And for the other team, it was just a bunch of hazard stacking, and I had Whirlwind on the Hippo, and I also had a super bulky Arceus Ghost, because then you can only hit it because there are no ghost type. There are fucking no ghost types in the tier, and the only other way to hit this thing for super effective is dark type moves, which Yeah, if you're running Darkrai, good luck with that shit. Everything else, once again, like it's Tyranitar with Pursuit, and there is no other good Dark type moves. And this thing, when it burns the physical attackers, and then just clicks Will-O-Wisp and Roar with a bunch of stacks, like it's fucking impossible to get rid of. And that was kind of the idea for the first team, is just stack hazards. You have Lando and Exca there to sweep late game once the Arceus that is essentially impossible to break through chips everything down alongside hazards. But obviously it ended up being a mirror matchup, so all that mattered was like, okay, who wins the speed tie wins the game.
Yeah. The one thing that I felt very strongly about in this tier was that this motherfucker Cloyster feels like the cheesiest shit in existence.
Yep, I mean, there's a reason why it's in Ubers in Gen 5.
Yeah. That's
It's
why
one
I
of the best
I originally put it in here, thinking like, why the fuck is this thing even in Ubers? Then I went to Smogon to see what reasoning do they have, and then I checked. Oh, Skill Link, Cell Smash, Icicle Spear, Rock Blast, Life Orb just kills like everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
It also, after Shell Smash, it outspeeds like a lot of the Scarfers even, so it's...
Yeah.
Cloyster, the best it's... I'm glad you highlighted that, because that was initially the Rain team I was gonna build around Cloyster, but Cloyster didn't really fit into the like Ferrocool core, because it was then like Cloyster is the star of the show, Ferrocool are stars of the show, so it was basically like, do I want to play this like balanced team with Ferrocool as the defensive backbone, or do I want to set up Cloyster to be able to bring it in safely and just click Shell Smash and then win? It was like kind of two things where it's like, okay, it's one or the other, and I end up going into Ferrocool because it was obviously one of those mons was a Gen 5 mon, and I also really like Genesect, and Genesect fits into that playstyle really well as well, because it's a fast Scarfer that can also... It's also one of the few mons that can still like utilize Explosion pretty well, because of like, if you get a download boost to your attack, then like it basically kills anything that doesn't like Giga resist it and is bulky with an explosion. So it kind of like just fit in nicely to the core. So that's why I ended up going into this. But I'm glad you showcased that, because Gen 5 is the strongest that Cloyster's ever been. And it's not just for the Ubers metagame. It's really good in the Ubers metagame, obviously, because of a lot of dragons and flyers as well. But it was also like in OU, it was the best mon for the brief period that it was there.
And I don't know, it feels like a mon that could be just 520 speed, or even more than that, because I'm not even max speed investment. I'm 244, 32, and 332 for speed, special attack, and attack.
I mean, you don't need max speed.
Yeah, you don't.
You still outspeed everything.
520, and you outspeed everything. Because like I think even Excadrill is like the only thing that would outspeed you if it's in sand.
Yep.
So that's about it. And then it's like, okay, yeah. And if that happens, well, we kind of deserved it at that point anyway.
But that's the thing also, like, why when it's often slotted into rain teams, it's like, if you can prevent Exca from coming in with Sun, which is pretty easy, because that's the thing about Cloyster as well, because it's like really hard to counter because of like skill link, and its move pool coverage is just so like it's super hard to not just explode to it immediately. It's you can easily like sack something to bring Cloyster in, and then just get the Shell Smash off for free. And then at that point, like, you can't even bring anything back into it. Whereas like for Exca, like, it's if you're sacking something for it and then bringing it in, and then you get then the sand gets overwritten, then you don't do anything anymore. Whereas Cloyster, it doesn't need the rain. The biggest thing about the rain is literally to be there to prevent Exca, which is like the only thing that's faster than it to coming in. Unless you're running something like, I don't fucking know, Scarf, like... Scarf, I don't think Scarf Ray is even fast enough. But... there's a there are like bulky Kyogre variants that literally exist to like a lot of defense investment, which exist to live. Bring it in to on Cloyster. You live a Rock Blast, and then you KO it back with Thunder, because obviously it's not very bulky on the special side, so you don't need a lot of investment on Kyogre to do that. But that's like the concept of having a Kyogre that is built to counter this one mon, which is Kyogre, like famously one of the best restricteds ever in Pokemon, to have it built to be countering one Cloyster tells you a lot.
It speaks volumes about just how menacing this fucking thing can be.
Yeah. Cloyster is like, it's been good for quite a while. Like, it's always at least like pretty good, but Gen 5 is when it's just absolutely fucking insane. Thanks to Shell Smash. Shell Smash and Skill Link is obviously crazy. And even though like it didn't count or matter in those calculations, but it's still like funny seeing, because it's 5 hits obviously means that you also get a lot of chances for the good old 10% critical hit, where it's like I think every single one except for one of your moves, at least one of those hits crit, which obviously, like I said, it didn't matter in those calculations. But that's the thing about even the for counter Kyogre set, there is still a 10% chance that you still lose that, because the opponent just rolls the crit.
Like, I think the fact that it hit 25% for each hit, and a single crit means that nothing can survive it. Is there even a mon that could possibly survive 5 hits from a Shell Smash Cloyster when it crits once? Is there anything?
If you have a physically invested Pharaoh that lives it, there is obviously the big thing also another thing why Arceus is so good. Invested Arceus also lives it, and if you burn it back, then obviously you're good, because Gen 5 burn is broken, because it does double the amount of damage that it does these days. But apart from those things, I don't think so. Like, I'm sure there's like some super specific shit, but like stuff that you would actually use, like it's essentially defensively invested Pharaoh when you're kind of, and at that point you kind of lose the what makes like Pharaoh so good in Gen 5 Ubers. And then you have Arceus, but that's another thing, which like, because 80% of the metagame is special attackers, and you're always running Willow anyway, and Gen 5 Willow is super broken. It's kind of like, would you want to do that actually? The most reliable way to counter it is just Extreme Killer Arceus, because obviously if you're a normal type, you get the stab, you click Extreme Speed, and assuming that the Cloyster isn't Sash or White Herb, then you blow it up. That's another thing also, which is why Cloyster is so good. There's also like adaptations where you instead of Life Orb, you run Sash Cloyster, which then means that you can't even revenge kill it with the few counters that exist. And for most calculations, you're still killing them clean after a Shell Smash.
Looking at Arceus normal with Extreme Killer set, it does 60 to 70% to
after an SD.
No, not after SD.
Oh, okay.
It dies to Icicle Spear.
Yeah,
should at least. So, but after SD, it guarantees kills.
Yeah.
So
that's usually for those kills, but obviously that's Extreme Killer Arceus is something that you set up with status before you go for it, because it's bulky, because Arceus just has such insane stats, obviously. But against like boosted stuff, like when you're not invested, it's not that crazy, but it's like really good. But I mean, I think Arceus is so fucking cool, and like we'll see it in most Ubers metagames when we're playing. And the cool thing about Arceus is like the set that Extreme Killer, the set that I ran on Arceus today, like those are 2 out of like 15 potential viable sets that Arceus has, which is very fitting for the god of Pokemon, and also why it's so cool.
I think Arceus is or sorry, Arceus. Man,
I hear both. I say Arceus.
I'm pretty sure it's Arceus because it's like it's the arc phone and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be overarching because it has arcs on its back and stuff like that. So Arceus makes no sense if you think all this into account. But I think Arceus is really cool. I'm just used to saying Arceus. I'm gonna say Arceus.
Yeah, there are
Is
multiple.
Arceus the highest base stat total out of
If you don't
any
count Mega
non?
Evolutions, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I was gonna say any non-mega or non-primal.
Yes, sir. It indeed
wonderful.
is. It just feels right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I don't have much else to say. I think we kind of established everything or talked about everything that I wanted to at least talk about. Obviously, the highlights being like Ferrocruel and just the presence of what's his face, weather in general. But
Yeah.
But yeah.
I don't really have much either because I'm just bummed that I didn't get to do Caesar stuff because
I mean, you put Caesar in the in the same
like, what was I
team
thinking?
with the best sweeper in the entire metagame, and it's like, I think I will highlight Caesar as my sweeper in this team. When there's like literally the best sweeper at that point in the entire game in the same team.
Man.
But yeah,
Maybe I should have gone for a Tailwind set with this guy instead.
you'll get to highlight Caesar. Caesar, like I think in like Gen 8 it's pretty dog shit, but like Gen 6, Gen 7 is like some of the strongest Caesars ever. Obviously, it really enjoys the introduction of Fairy type. It gets its Mega Evolution, which is a really good Mega. It's Caesar.
And
For the time being, it's
Gen
like
8,
it's a good mon to put on rain teams that kind of team building checks you, because it's a mon that's hard. Like it's kind of like it's an offensive Ferrothorn in the sense where it's like this thing has one clear weakness, and when that like super clear weakness gets dealt with, then it's like, okay, how do you deal with it now? But the thing about Gen 5 Caesar is, like I said at this point multiple times, like Gen 5 Burn is fucking broken, and Burn gets nerfed starting in Gen 6 as well, which also makes Caesar stronger. So I think Gen 6 is probably one of the strongest generations for Caesar, and like 6 and 7 both, like Caesar is really good. So you'll get to use Caesar.
I
another
wait
time.
eagerly.
Yeah, you'll be fine. But yeah, there's a chance that we see Cloister again, but like I said, like it's never nearly as strong as it is now. So I'm very happy that we got to see it showcased by you. So that is nice. But next time we will be jumping into the other end of power, and we are playing Lil Cup, and Generation 5 unquestionably like the biggest meta shakeup Lil Cup ever gets. Like some of the, like if you're thinking of like, if you think like the 10 greatest Lil Cup Pokemon of all time today, 4 of those mons are gonna be from Generation 5, and they're still like some of the, if not the single greatest mons still in Lil Cup today. So that's pretty exciting. And finally, it's also nice because previously it was essentially your team needs like 3 counters to Abra. Now, half of the mons that get introduced that are broken in Lil Cup are like direct Abra counters. So now it turns into more of a, I think, cooler dynamic when there's more shit there, instead of just like, okay, half of my team dedicated to countering Abra, then 1 Abra myself, and then I have two more slots left to figure out some bullshit.
Believe Konami would do this.
Yep.
Cannot believe Konami would nerf my boy.
How dare they? But yeah, we'll see you next time for the Generation 5 Lookup episode. Thank you so very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day. Peace.